A common theme with avoidance that comes up is that a friend or partner of avoidant wants to spend a lot more time with that avoidant person than what the avoidant person wants to spend with them. It's kind of like Cinderella sometimes for these avoidants. It's like the clock strikes 12 and they have to go home, or the clock strikes the weekend, and that's when they turn into a pumpkin. Or after 6 hours of spending time with them during the day for a few days of the week, then magically after 6 hours, that's their pumpkin time where they're like, oh, gotta go home, gotta go be alone again. And it can be frustrating having an avoidant person in your life if you're used to spending at least 3, 4, maybe even 5 days a week with your partner, and you have an avoidant person who's only wanting to spend maybe a few days a week with you. So in this video, I basically wanted to talk about why is it that some avoidants, not all avoidants, but why some avoidants can be super militant, have really strong boundaries around their time. So if you're brand new here, my name is Wando, and the channel is called Confessions of an Avoidant. And here I like to talk about attachment as someone who goes through life, experiencing life as an avoidant person. So if you appreciate this channel's existence, I'd greatly appreciate it if you liked this video. Okay, why are some avoidants militant around their time and seem to be kind of unflexible? Is it unflexible or inflexible? Can be inflexible, I think, when it comes to compromising around their time. I don't struggle with this as much. Again, avoidance is on a spectrum, but I have been dating someone recently. It's not super serious, but I have noticed that I have been this way with them. I'm not really flexible around when I want to see them, and I caught myself doing that. I'm like, oh my God, I'm doing that thing. I'm doing that thing everyone complains about. I was like, oh my God, I need to write down what's going on and make a video about this. So here I am making a video about this. But some avoidants are way more extreme about this. I can be that way, but I'm a little bit more flexible. So to explain what's going on, I like to say that for us avoidant people, our go with the flow threshold, I just made up that term, but I'm going to say it again. Our go with the flow threshold is very high. So the go with the flow threshold for these varying times to meet someone and hang out with someone can be lower for someone who's more secure or someone who's anxiously attached. Meaning, if someone, a friend or someone that they're dating is like, hey, what are you doing tonight? Let's do this. They can be like, okay, yeah, sure. And be quite spontaneous and kind of drop their plans and be happy to meet with that person. Whereas for someone who's avoidant, that threshold is higher, meaning there's more resistance to kind of just go with the flow when it comes to our time. You know, our time can feel very sacred to us, and it can feel hard to just relinquish it to other people and at any time and random times that are just thrown at us. Why? Avoidant people are kind of going through life with this kind of undetectable, unconscious anxiety when it comes to being in other people's space, being around other people, kind of giving your time to other people. And it's not just relationships, it's with work, it's going to the supermarket, it's walking in your neighborhood. There can be this anxiety, and it's not panic attack anxiety, but this super low level, like 1 rating anxiety, being around other people. And then when we come back into our own space in our apartment, in our home, it's such a relief, just being in our own space, being alone with ourselves. And I think we can really value our quality time with ourselves, because all that kind of low-level stress goes away from having to be around other people all day, every day. And I think we can be this way because during our upbringing, when you have caregivers that are neglectful and make you feel really, really uncomfortable when you go downstairs to make eggs for breakfast, and they kind of get on your case or kind of treat you like you're bothering them simply for being around. Or maybe you want to watch TV in the living room downstairs and you're treated like you're a nuisance or whatever. Basically, you're just spending your entire childhood feeling like you're walking on eggshells every time you're around your caregiver. And then what happens is, because that's how you're conditioned to feel in your childhood, then you go out into these other circumstances like school and work. And it's almost like that's the software you're operating with, which is that being around other people should be a situation where you have to walk on eggshells. You can't really trust them. You never truly feel comfortable around them. And so unknowingly, we just kind of get conditioned to just go through life feeling like other people in our presence, sharing space with other people, feels stressful or can feel anxiety inducing. And then when we come home, all of that just stress and discomfort of being around other people just goes away. And that's why, as a result, when we're by ourselves, it just feels like such sacred, safe, peaceful, calm, relaxing time. But the big problem with life is that it's very hard to be by yourself all the time. You know, you have school, you have university, you have work, you have going to your cousin's place for holiday, for Thanksgiving, for Christmas dinner. You have all these things that you have to do that involve being around other people. So we can't actually be in our safe, sacred space that is just being by ourselves all the time. And so I like to say that being an avoidant person, it can feel like if quality time by yourself were like putting gas in your car, it can feel like you're spending most of your days running on empty because you have to go to work, because you have to go to school, because you have to be around other people all day, every day. It can feel like you're really running low on that peace and calm and safe feeling that you get from just being alone. And so with establishing that, I want to talk about why it's so important for many avoidant people to have such kind of strong boundaries, such militant boundaries around their time. So first, of course, is work. And for me, work and working for other people has always kind of felt like very similar to the experience you have at home when you have neglectful parents, which is like, one of my parents in particular was super authoritarian as well. So you have a parent that's neglectful, that's not really like, emotionally available for you. And then on top of that, they're authoritarian. So like they're just ordering you around all the time. And my authoritarian parent kind of ruled the house and was very mean sometimes, and sometimes like acted like a bully. And the reason that work can be really, really frustrating is it can be very parallel to those kind of dynamics at home. You just go to work, you have superficial relationships that aren't very meaningful with your bosses a lot of the time. You feel like you're giving your entire day to these people who are technically more important than you. They have a higher status than you, and you just feel like you don't matter. And yet you have to give 8 hours of like your precious energy. You have to give all of that away to this other person. And it can just feel so energy depleting. And then when you get home, let's say you get home at 5 or 6, if you have to do a commute, maybe you might get home at 7, and you have only like 4 or 5 hours of being awake left for yourself, to cook, to work out, to watch some TV show or whatever. And so that's why, it can feel like you don't have that much time to give to someone else as an avoidant person, because you just spent your entire day feeling like you were depleted of any energy, and you were depleted of any non-anxious energy, non-stressed out energy. And then you have such a little window left of that calm energy. So it's like, it's really hard to like part with it and like go spend time with someone else. And it's harder for some people. Again, avoidance is on a spectrum. Not everyone is as extreme as the most militant avoidance around their time, but I definitely understand this so well. And this person that I'm dating now, sometimes this person wants to meet me at like random different times, and I'm like, oh, it's hard for me because I just feel like I only have so much time after 6 or 7 p.m. to do things just for myself. And that's really important to me. And that brings me to point number 2. Some avoidant people, and I consider myself like this, have really important objectives for themselves. Like for me, I'm working on a YouTube channel. I have another YouTube channel that's a travel YouTube channel. I have a lot of stuff going on, you know? So for me, it's so important when I'm not working to use my time for these different projects that I'm doing or other things that I'm working on that are really, really important to me. And sometimes when someone wants to do something with me and it's at a time where I know, oh, I have to edit this video, or I have to record this video, or there's other things that I do as well. I create online products. I have some side hustles and stuff. So it can feel like I'm choosing someone else over some of these other important things for me when they want to hang out with me at a certain time. That can feel like a very, very hard thing to do. And also, when you do sacrifice your objectives for spending time with someone else, I think what can happen with avoidance a lot is internally we can be like mad at ourselves or angry at ourselves when we're like, oh man, that's the 3rd week in a row where I should have worked on that thing on Saturday, or I should have been writing my sales page on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday, and it's the 3rd week in a row that I spent it with this other person. And so it can feel like we are abandoning ourselves, and over time we can like start like pulling back, giving as much time as maybe we were giving earlier, because we can start to realize that we're falling behind with some of our objectives. So to go along with that, I think it's really important to understand that just because someone is not spending as much quality time with you as you'd like to spend with them, or maybe they've changed in terms of how much they were spending in the beginning versus now, doesn't mean that they don't want to see you. It doesn't mean that they don't like you. It doesn't mean that they don't love you. They could just really, really be going through a really strong internal battle over like feeling like they don't have as much time as they had before, or feeling like they've been abandoning themselves over the course of weeks or months. And maybe that's why it's kind of leading to them being more strict with their time. And the last thing that I just want to say about that is I do feel like for a lot of avoidants, maybe not all avoidants, but I do think a lot of avoidants, you know, feeling independent and feeling like you're doing things that are important for you, you know, that can be a high thing on our list of what means a lot to us. And sometimes, you know, the unfortunate thing about relationships is that that can cause you to kind of sacrifice doing things that are important for you sometimes. And so I just hope that, you know, people can understand that, you know, if an avoidant person is kind of withdrawing in terms of how much time that they're giving to you, again, it's not about you. It has nothing to do with you. It's a lot of the software that we've had our entire lives, and it's not just going to go away just because our partner is, you know, mad at us or fighting with us, or you know, getting really frustrated because there's different quality time expectations. So I just want to reiterate again, at the end of the day, you're used to spending way more time with your partner, and your avoidant person, they're not spending as much time as you would like them to. It doesn't mean that they don't love you, it doesn't mean that they don't care about you, but at the same time, it also doesn't mean that they're doing anything wrong, you know, and they're not doing it to purposefully hurt you. In life, we all have choices. So you have a choice to say, I can't handle this, and I'm used to someone spending more time with me, and I want someone who will spend more time with me. And the avoidant person has a choice to try and spend more time with you or not. And you can always leave the relationship. And I know that that's hard sometimes, but at the end of the day, we can't change people or expect them to be exactly the way we would like them to be. So I just wanted to make this video to make it clear. Sometimes us avoidants can just feel like our time to ourselves is really, really sacred. And we can feel like it's very depleted when we're spending too much time with work or other people or whatnot. So I hope that this video explained that, put that into perspective. I hope you appreciate it. Feel free to share it. And if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.